Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are having an incredible evening. Today is day 7 of our 30-day challenge to emotional mastery. And it is a real pleasure to be leading and guiding you on this journey. It's an honor to receive all of your very heartfelt, powerful messages of transformation, of enlightenment, of healing that you've all been experiencing over the past couple of days with this challenge. I really didn't expect it to uh, create such an impact. But it really was something that was channeled and I felt it was needed at this time. So it is such an honor to be able to host space. And I'm very, very happy to hear that it has supported you in some way in your journey. So tonight, day 7, we're going to tune into emotional awareness. And tonight's practice is going to be all about becoming very acquainted with the range of emotions, ranges of frequencies, in order to understand how to embody our highest expression. And in order to access more profound healing, it is really important to understand how each emotion functions in our specific body so that we can understand where our triggers are, where our strengths are, and where we need assistance in understanding how to embody unconditional love, which ultimately is what we want to learn how to embody. Let me go ahead and really briefly just post this. If you have been finding some support with these classes, please do share them. They are free. Let me go ahead and share this. Hi, IR2. Hi, Mama Ren. So wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. For some reason, I can't share it. There you go. All right. Awesome. All right, everybody, let's get started. So I'm going to share a little PowerPoint presentation for you. Hello, Emily Howard. Welcome, welcome everybody that's joining us today. I'm going to be sharing a little tiny PowerPoint presentation with you to kind of go over some concepts of emotions that I would love to share with you before we dive into this topic. And this is part of our self-love course that I have online that's available and accessible to you through the website. This is a course, it's a 1-month course, 4-week course that you can take to learn how to embody unconditional self-love. And so before we begin, I'm going to start here at this really great diagram, I guess, of the emotions and the process of emotions. This is the one that I wanted to show you actually yesterday. I showed you another one quite similar to this, but the process of emotions, primary, secondary, tertiary emotions, and then their root cause of the emotions, okay? And so today we're going to feel every single one of our emotions to understand what they do to us in our body. We're going to be taking a look at the psychic, intuitive, physical, emotional part of emotions, how we process emotions through all of those layers. And we're going to go down the list of all the emotional frequencies. Now, the emotional scale, this is a really powerful chart that I really love, that allows us to understand thought forms and their connection to feelings and emotions. Okay, the charge of these emotions have ranges, and from lowest to highest, these are the belief systems that are the root of these emotional states. Okay, so I just want you to just quickly take a look at this. But again, I don't want you to completely look at this as the ultimate truth, because everybody reaches these thought forms in slightly different ways, through your trauma, through your life experiences, things that have happened to you. So the key is for you to, in this self-study and healing, you need to understand how you reached these thought forms, what programmed you to reach these thought forms, and therefore understanding how to deprogram yourself. This is very individual and unique to every single person. And at the end of this session, you will really understand something a little more profound about emotions, but it'll help you understand the process of programming. Okay, now these thought forms create breakages in the energetic field, as I was mentioning to you a couple days ago, that when we go into lower frequency emotions, the side effects of that is that we end up having tears in the body because of the lack of awareness and presence in the fractal holographic vessel that we are embodying. Anytime that this holographic vessel is abandoned, rejected, ignored, we immediately become a host to external influences, whether it's your everyday marketing around you or emotions, unresolved emotions from someone else in your space that you can take on unconsciously. It's just an example, but this is the result of having this lack of presence, lack of awareness in your present body, in the present moment, that you begin to create these holes in your body, and they begin to drain life force out from those spaces, create distortions, imbalances, and eventually over time, aches, pains, and illnesses. And eventually we're dissolving into a cycle of counter creation again. Now, when we are completely aware of the body, here you can see on the right, this person has their field completely solid all around them. They're very good at maintaining good energetic hygiene, emotional awareness throughout their day, and presence in the present moment. You can tell that this person is in the present moment. This person on the left is either constantly pulling in the back in the past, referencing past experiences, or trying to survive by trying to look at the future. Okay, so they're not in the present moment. When you're in the present, you have a very strong energetic field and you are fully in your body. Okay, so this is, of course, looking at the different effects of thought forms and emotional distortions in the energetic field. They immediately have an impact on the expression and the output into this hologram that we're experiencing. So anytime that we're feeling emotions, and this is a really great chart that kind of shows us a little bit more of the subconscious belief systems that run the program, more so than just the superficial outer presentation that we tend to have through a personality in order to hide the subconscious belief systems, okay? And what's running the back end of our subconscious mind can be fear programs, they can be feelings of denial, feelings of suppression, feelings of disempowerment. All of those things are rooted in the subconscious mind and are being translated into emotions, triggers, reactions, and responses to anything that is happening around you, even the choices that you're making. So the spiral that we are embodying in our physical body, remember the body is a spiral. And when we are in heavier states of vibrational frequency, like this downward spiral here, you can see these very low emotions. They're very dense, very heavy. The hertz of these, the frequency of these emotions are so slow and stagnant that they create stagnation in the flow of life force in the body. And literally the life force cannot anchor into the earth through you or into your body. So we become ill. Now on the other side of that, coming into love, unconditional love and empowerment, we begin to see how fluid, how bright, how expansive our field becomes. Okay, so these are two ways to understand how we are experiencing and co-creating in the reality. So I'm going to, well, we can talk about coherence as well, because today we're going to feel every single one of the emotions in order to understand how they affect the body. Now, through resonance, we connect with people, places, and things that are in alignment with us, okay? So we want to make sure that we are always in alignment with what we're trying to co-create. Here is a nice picture of you know, what it looks like to have these energy attachments and entities on the physical body that is constantly unaware, open, and disconnected from itself. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop the share right there. Oh, actually, hold on a second. Let me stop the share. And I'm going to share with you a list of emotions. Now, in this session, we are going to practice going through all of the ranges of emotions in order to feel them, to become very acquainted with them, and to gain emotional wisdom. We gain emotional wisdom by becoming aware of how we experience each emotion in our physical body. So let me open that up. We're going to go down this list. Bear with me here. Okay, so here's the list of emotions. Okay, just go ahead and take a look at this list for a moment. And if you want, you can screenshot this. So you can kind of take a look at the emotions that are most being felt. Okay, now you can screenshot it so it's not completely lost there. And this is just a really great list of many different emotions that we might be feeling throughout our day, okay? It is important for us to feel and become acquainted with every single one of these emotions. Today, we're gonna work on a wide range of those, you and me together, until we process and experience them in this exercise, okay? All right, so without further ado, I'd like to get started because this meditation will take a little bit longer. It's gonna be a little bit longer of a workshop for us. I want to welcome Angie and thank Angie so much for joining us here in the chat. And everyone else that came in. Luana, thank you so much for joining. Dogface, hello. Cedric, so great to see you. JKS, Andre Louise, so wonderful to see you. Definitely check out the interview that we did with Andre Louise. It's in Spanish. And it should have subtitles soon, I believe. Anita, so good to see you. La Única Yola. Yoli, Marilena, Zerelda, Katie, so great to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started. So we're going to start by inhaling deeply and exhaling. Okay. And with every breath you take, we're just going to allow ourselves to come into a state of relaxation, of rest, of connecting with the body. Breathing deeply. And as we connect with the body, we're going to begin to visualize our grounding cord down to the center of the earth. Breathing deeply. Okay, creating your energetic field. Go ahead and tune in to your energetic body and just go ahead and notice where we have openings in your energetic field. Tune in. And wherever we have openings in the field, just allow yourself to seal those openings, closing them consciously, lovingly. Very good. So as you gently scan your body, allowing yourself to eliminate any emotions that are currently in the body, just allowing them to leave our space now so we can begin our work, coming into a state of neutrality first. So whatever you're feeling right now, allow yourself to eliminate that. bringing your self into a state of neutrality. Breathing. Very good. And as you bring yourself into a state of neutrality, we're going to begin to ground, connecting down again to the center of the earth. And we're going to go deeper. I want you to begin to ground your space that you're in. And you're just going to set the intention that we're going to be working in a beautiful space of golden light, filling our room with golden light, neutralizing any heavy energy in our space, bringing calm, neutrality into our bodies. Breathing deeply. Very good. And as you create this neutrality and this inner space, we're going to go deeper. I want you to focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. And this is a very important part of this exercise. We're going to bring the body into a state of neutrality before we continue. So the root chakra closing down to the size of a dime. The sacral chakra, visualize shrinking it down to the size of a dime, coming into a state of neutrality. Going up to the solar plexus now in the center core. Go ahead and visualize shrinking that down to the size of a dime, disconnecting any imbalance in the emotional body. The solar plexus. Going up to the heart chakra. You're going to visualize expanding that heart chakra as wide as possible, opening the center of unconditional love and connection. And you go up to the throat. You're going to expand that throat chakra front and back, opening the center of communication and expression. Going to go up to the third eye. Going to visualize expanding that chakra as wide as possible, opening the center of intuition. If you are looking to train your intuition, this is how you bring yourself and your body into an intuitive alignment with higher dimensional planes. You're going to go up to your crown, and this is very important. Go ahead and activate your crown chakra. Okay. And during this process, because we're going to be experiencing a range of emotions, we're going to run energy. So we're going to choose a color that's really healing for you. Okay, go ahead and select a color that is very healing for you. Whatever color that is. Okay, now that you have that color, you're going to visualize from the center of the earth, bringing that color into the body, creating a vortex of energy all around you. So go ahead and visualize this healing color all around you, rotating around the 13 dimensional layers of the body. Okay, from the universe, from source, go ahead and bring that cosmic energy down to the crown of your head, combining with the earth, this healing energy that is unique to you. As you begin to feel the force of that vortex moving all around you, you're going to anchor some of that into the center of the earth. So go ahead and send your healing energy and cosmic energy back to the central core, providing cosmic energy for the core of the planet. Go back to the solar plexus, take a larger amount of this total combination and send it up your spine. And from the crown of your head, you're going to create a fountain coating the outside of your protective field with your healing and your cosmic energy. Neutralizing people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you. And you're just going to visualize cutting all of the unconscious connections to people, places, and things that you no longer are in alignment with. Any draining, anywhere where you unconsciously allocated your life force, or your life force is being drained unconsciously, go ahead and call back your life force into the body right now. Breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. Okay, gonna take that final amount of that cosmic and healing energy, and you're gonna put it into your body now. You can channel it into the hands and bring it into every cell of the body, the entire skin organ of the body, into the muscle systems, nervous systems, down to the bone structure, the crystalline structure of the body, and into the cells. Bringing you in a state of complete neutrality and bliss. Okay. So now that we're here, fully grounded down to the center of the earth, protected in our field, and in our highest intuitive point, we're going to begin to work with this energy. Grounding, be sure to ground down to the center of the earth. Okay. So we're going to go through our list of emotions. I'm going to name them out. And what I want you to do is I want you to tune into this emotion. As I name out the emotion, you're going to identify if any part of you becomes triggered by that emotion, if any part of the body tenses up, if you feel any discomfort anywhere in the body, heat in the body, stagnation in the body. Do you see colors that light up when I say the name of the emotion? You're going to explore how this emotion affects you in this complete state of awareness. Okay, so let's begin with the first emotion. Okay, we're going to start with accepted. Okay, a feeling of acceptance. Okay, go ahead and hear that emotion of acceptance. And just notice immediately what thoughts come to mind. What part of the body tenses up when we hear the word acceptance or accept. You're going to go to that part of the body that tenses up, and you're going to sit with that feeling, that sensation, whether it's a discomfort or an emotion that is there. You're going to be present with it. And as you're present, go ahead and see what kind of memories it brings to the surface. that are connected with this emotion of acceptance. Whether it's the need for acceptance or something that you need to accept yourself, from yourself. If strong emotions arise as you come around this emotion, you're going to breathe through as you just observe. We're just observing today. Okay, we're just learning what each one of these emotions feel like in the body. And as you feel this feeling of acceptance or the lack of acceptance, just go ahead and notice all the memories and the parts of you as we're going to ask with our crown chakra, with our third eye, to be shown all the parts of us that are triggered by this word, by this emotion, acceptance. Okay, just see them in front. Just go ahead and observe. What is it that they would need? What do they need in order to not feel discomfort when we are hearing or experiencing triggered by this emotion? Just observe. Breathing. Very good. So the next emotion, we're going to go ahead and let that leave our space now, is aggravated. Aggravated. Go ahead and feel that emotion. Just notice what becomes triggered in your body as I say the word, the emotion aggravated. And notice what parts of your body begin to tense up. Perhaps it's not a word that you use in your vocabulary, but it is an emotion intuitively that you begin to tune into. Sensation. And begin to notice the memories that come up as you tune into that discomfort of that emotion in the body. Just observe how many emotions, how many parts of you have felt aggravated recently, in the past 24 hours, in the past month, in the past year, maybe since the beginning of your life. How familiar are you with the emotion of being aggravated? Breathing deeply. And again, your first three chakras are closed in order to keep you as neutral as possible. So as soon as you begin to identify yourself with the emotion, I want you to pull away back into a state of neutrality. There's a difference between identifying yourself with the emotion and observing. When you identify, you snap into the emotions that are being triggered by the emotion, and you begin to feel those sensations, and it'll be hard for you to move away from those sensations. Oftentimes we are addicted to these sensations, and they are actually, in all of their discomfort, very comfortable and familiar to us. So in this exercise, this is where we're going to understand our areas of comfort and discomfort. And you might be surprised how some very uncomfortable reactions are actually very well known to us, more so than opposing, peaceful, harmonious emotions in the body. So this is what this exercise is about. So again, do not get identified with the reactions that you might be having, but you're just observing. An observer watches without judgment and feels the emotion and the sensations in the body enough to understand and process the information, the gifts, and the knowledge, the wisdom that this emotion is bringing for you. Okay, so as you see all of the parts of you that have felt aggravated, what would be the opposite of being aggravated? What would be the opposite? What would you need in order to feel the opposite of aggravated? Take a look at that. Breathing deeply. Okay. Very good. So let's go ahead and let that leave our space now. And we're going to go to the next emotion of agitated. Agitated. Go ahead and tune into that. Again, we're coming into a state of neutrality. We are just observing and watching what happens to this vessel when it feels agitated. You're going to have all kinds of memories of experiences where you have felt agitated in more recent days and also past experiences. So just see yourself reacting to these experiences and just watch others as they react to you, as you learn a little bit about yourself when you are agitated. How do you respond? What do you do? What's your body language? What's your energy look like? What kind of words do you utilize? What are your main emotions that you feel as a result of being agitated? And finally, what is it that you need in order to not feel agitated when triggered by blank, whatever it is that triggers you? And I want you to observe the trigger. Is it something that is the same person, place, or thing? Or is it something different every time? What is it that's triggering you? Take a look at that. Okay. So now, as you allow yourself to replace this emotion of agitation with a higher octave, the opposite of that emotion, you begin to feel the opposite emotion. So in this case, a word that comes to mind is acceptance. Okay, so for example, in this example, I'm going to fill all the fragments with acceptance and neutrality. So just allow yourself, you are teaching yourself the ranges of emotions and what you specifically need in order to help yourself inform on what's occurring in those emotions. Very good. Okay, so let's let that leave our space. Notice how you're going from heightened states to calm states, heightened state to calm states. Let's go to the next one, annoyed. Okay, annoyed. Go ahead and take a look at the feeling of annoyed. What happens to your body when you start to feel annoyed? Okay, notice the memories that start coming up. Okay, what is it that annoys you the most? I want you to break it down. Is this trigger something that keeps happening every time or something different? Just take a moment to observe that. Okay, again, we're in a state of neutrality with 3 chakras closed, running energy through the body to help us move through emotional energy quicker. Okay, negative energy and high energy, we're moving that energy pretty quick. So take a look at these memories of being annoyed, triggers of being annoyed, and what is it that you need in order to not feel annoyed? Take a look at all these memories if you can, trying to go as far back as possible to look at all the fragments of yourself that have felt annoyance and just notice what you would need in order to replace that emotion, to replace that experience. Very good. Okay. So now that you have experienced that opposite, notice that you are also becoming acquainted with the opposite. Okay. So perhaps the opposite of annoyance can be perhaps patience or acceptance again, or compassion. Okay, just notice that and explore what that feels like. Explore its opposite. Very good. So the next word is intelligent. Go ahead and tune in to this feeling intelligent. What emotion does that cause in you when we say the word intelligence? Now, I have some clients that this word is a really strong trigger. Oftentimes, when we were children, perhaps our parents said that we weren't smart enough, or we weren't good enough, or we weren't capable. So sometimes this word triggers really strong emotions in us. So just go ahead and notice how it feels to hear this word and how we respond to it. Okay, just go ahead and scan the body. Notice any tension in the body. Notice any survival mechanism traits, whether that's tension of the nervous system, muscles contracting, energy contracting. Any kind of contraction in the body is a negative response to these thought forms. Expansion of the body is a positive response to these words, these trigger words. Okay. Okay, just look at all of the aspects of yourself and allow yourself to provide yourself with everything you need in order to shift from contractive responses into expansive responses. What do you need? Okay. This next word is cranky. Okay, when we feel cranky. Okay, go ahead and take a look at yourself over the past 24 hours, over the past week, over the past month. When was the last time you felt cranky? Okay, what are some of the circumstances that trigger that feeling in you? Watch yourself in those circumstances, just observing. Okay, and just gently ask yourself, why do you feel that way? What is it that causes you to feel that way? And I want you to break it down in its most simplified form. It could be boundaries feel like they're being crossed, not getting respect, not being loved, not having attention. Any number of things can cause this feeling of crankiness for us, and it's going to be different for everyone. Okay, so just notice. And just notice the people around us. How do they respond to our crankiness? How do they feel? Tune into those emotions, just observing them, not judging them. And I want you to see all of the parts of you that have felt cranky as a result of these experiences. And I want you to see, what is it that you need in order to no longer feel cranky anymore? What do you need? What do you need from yourself? Okay, and as soon as you find the answer to these questions, you're going to feel an expansion, okay? An immediate expansion, because you have now become aware of that part of you that has been suppressed, hidden, ignored. The moment that you become aware of it, you bring your awareness to that aspect of yourself, it lights up because it's become acknowledged, because it's become enlightened, aware of itself. Okay, so let's go to the next emotion as we release that out of the body, coming back into a neutral state. Okay, let's go to the feeling of disgusted. Okay, any feelings of feeling disgusted, go ahead and feel that, feel into that emotion. Feeling of disgust. Okay, what does that trigger in you? You might begin to see memories of yourself judging yourself, maybe feeling disgust towards yourself or towards others. And just notice the emotions that it begins to trigger in you. Okay. Feel into the contraction in the body. Where in the body is it most contracted? Energy system, nervous system, muscle system. Okay, and sit with that discomfort. And just observe these many scenarios that you might be tuning into, or perhaps you've never felt disgust before. Sit with yourself and be sure to explore the entire life from the womb until now. Anywhere where you may have felt that. And as you feel the emotion, you begin to get some images as to your belief systems around disgust, belief systems around judgment, of your concepts and programs around purity, divinity, cleanliness, perfection. Okay, go ahead and notice that. How much tension do those programs create in you? Just observing, just watching, no judgment. And as you acknowledge them, as you acknowledge these thought forms, what is it that you think you need in order to, from that contractive belief systems, expand from those experiences? What would you need? Okay. Go back to yourself in those experiences, all of the fragments of yourself that have ever experienced disgust, either in yourself or another. And just notice, what is it that they need in order to no longer feel this disgust with themselves or others? Okay, just immediately notice. A lot of times, deeper emotions will arise, maybe pain, maybe suffering, maybe a feeling of feeling judged by others for so long that we form programs of judgment towards others as a result. Okay, so tune into any sorrow and grief that comes out from that awareness. And what would be the opposite of that sorrow and grief? Okay, acceptance is the first. Okay, so you accept that these experiences have happened and that we are able to learn from them. And as you accept, there becomes an expansion for you in the body. Okay, the next layer is, what do you need in order to accept from yourself to yourself? Okay. And I want you to provide yourself what that is. Provide it to yourself. What is it that you need in order to provide yourself, nurture yourself, give yourself all of that? Breathing deeply. Notice the expansion immediately as you begin to accept into your body a new way of thinking. You are literally deprogramming your DNA. Okay, so let's allow that to leave our space now. And we're going to go to the next emotion, enraged. Enraged. The feeling of enraged. Now, this is a really powerful one because a lot of people have been feeling this collectively. Okay, hearing things that are overwhelming, that are difficult to accept, feelings of helplessness. Go ahead and tune into that feeling of enraged. Where in the body are you triggered to feel enraged? And we might feel it at lesser amounts. Some of you might really feel it. Some of you might feel it at lesser amounts. Just tune into your body. Where in the body is contracted? Okay, tune into the feeling of enraged and notice the emotions that begin to arise underneath that enrage. Okay, notice in the body, the parts of the body that become triggered with the emotion. And you're going to sit with each one of the emotions that comes up. You're going to feel them fully. Not run away, not ignore them, not suppress them, not feel them. You're going to feel them and experience them all the way. Okay, so go ahead and sit with those feelings that have come up. Notice any fragmentation that is occurring as a result of these beliefs and these experiences. And I want you to see all the parts of yourself that have felt this way throughout your entire life as a result of being enraged. We're going to the secondary emotion underneath enraged. Okay, and I want you to ask yourself, why is it that you feel that way? What is it that you need in order to no longer feel that way? Okay, as you begin to inform yourself and experience the opposite, as you explore the expansion, you are exploring the process of going from contraction to expansion. So go ahead and feel into that expansive state. And provide yourself everything you need in order to sustain that expansive state as a result of this emotion. Breathing deeply. Notice how much of you is in the past or in the future when you are responding and reacting to these emotions. Okay, let's keep moving now. So right now we are going from contractive to expansive emotions. So let's go to another emotion now. Let's go to depression. Okay, anytime that we become depressed or disappointed, let's go ahead and tune into that. Okay, the feeling of disappointment. We'll start with disappointment, then we'll go to depressed. So go ahead and feel the emotion of disappointment. Okay, notice the emotions and the contractions that it creates in the body. Okay, notice any sorrow, grief that might result in your awareness of these parts of you, and go ahead and see all of the parts of you that have felt that disappointment. Excellent. And as you feel into that sorrow and the parts that are mourning that disappointment, go ahead and see what is it that you need in order to no longer feel this way. Okay, there's a lot of thought processes that you are going to become aware of doing this exercise. It's really, really powerful. You learn so much about yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and allow ourselves to absorb that healing, that expansion. Every expansion is a growing of your light. It is a fortifying of your light. It is building the foundation of your spiritual life force. So the more that we enter into expansive states, this is the alchemical process that we discussed yesterday, the transmutation of low emotions into high emotions, we experience expansion. Okay, so let's go to the next emotion of depressed. Depressed. Okay, so any time that we might feel depressed, go ahead, tune into the body. Observe the contraction. And again, we're running energy, so we're not becoming identified with any of these emotions. We are quickly moving through them as we observe them. We're observing them and how they process in the body. Okay, so depression. Go ahead and tune into the contraction in the body. How familiar are you with this emotion? Okay, what parts of you contract? Why do you feel this way? Go ahead and see all of the fragments of yourself that have felt depressed in your life from the womb until now. Okay, feel into that heaviness and go ahead and see what is it that you need in order to not feel depressed. What do you need from yourself? Begin to explore that possibility. And if it feels difficult to have that broader perspective of all of your fragments, focus on just one. You can look at just one this week, for example, or over the past month or year that has felt depressed. Just take a look at that one part of you that has felt that and just sit with that one part of you. And just observe, what is it that they need in order to no longer feel depressed? It'll be very easy to observe. Do they need love? Do they need acknowledgement? Do they need protection? Do they need support, healing? What do they need? You're going to provide those parts of you with your life force, all of the parts of you, transmuting from that depression. You've just learned how to counteract depression. Okay. So next time you start to feel depressed, what's going to happen is that now that you've done your homework, you now have tools in your toolkit. You now understand that in order to not feel depressed, for example, you have to shift your expectations of things, perhaps ground yourself, perhaps be more in the present moment instead of in the past or in the future. Perhaps you need to shift from being in constant states of fears, doubts, all of these potential beliefs that are a result of depression, for example. You now know what the opposite of that is. Okay, so what is it? Do you need nurturing? Do you need support from yourself? Do you need love? Do you need healing? Go ahead and provide yourself. Now you have completely created new neural pathways with every single one of these emotions that we just went through. Okay, so you're programming not just the mind, but the DNA, the holographic DNA. We are writing new code in, so our organism now has some tools as it moves forward. So let's keep moving now as we heal those parts of us. Another moment of absorbing that life force, healing life force. Okay, and if you need more time, you obviously, this kind of exercise, I mean, I've spent hours and hours processing each one of these emotions. So if you need more time, you can pause the video with each emotion and take your time, take your journey, and try to integrate as many fragments as you can that are connected to this emotion. This is a really wonderful way to do a very, very profound deprogramming on yourself. Every fragment that you reintegrate is an expansion again, okay? So let's go to the next emotion now. Shame. This is a big one. This is a big one for a lot of people. So go ahead and tune in. Shame. Go ahead and tune in to the parts of you that begin to contract as you hear the word shame. Go ahead and see the emotions around shame that you have felt, the experiences, the triggers. Begin to observe all of these experiences in the recent past and all the way back into the womb. Go ahead and take a look at all the fragments of yourself that have experienced shame. You begin to get a feel for the programs that are resulting from shame. Breathing deeply. Okay, go ahead and explore these, all of the parts of you in your life that have felt shame. Go ahead and see what is it that they need in order to no longer feel shame. Just observe, what do they need? What do they need from themselves in order to no longer feel shame? And this is a very powerful practice because you begin to notice very deep programs that are set and stemming from societal programming, religious programming, cultural programming, identity and sex programming. Okay. Even gender programming, fears, even love, joys. Notice all the emotions, expressions sometimes can become shameful when we're told that it's not good, it's not worthy, it's not pure. Creativity. Okay, so just check into all the parts of you that have experienced that shame. And as you see all these parts of you, just notice, what do they have in common? What is it that all these parts of you have in common? What is their common belief system? What do they need in order to no longer feel shame as a result of these triggers? Okay, this is very deeply connected to self-acceptance as well. Just notice how much judgment there might be towards yourself, parts of yourself. And just notice here is a wealth of work where you can dive deep into each one of these thought forms and reintegrate from them, okay? So just observe and just provide yourself with the opposite. What would be the opposite of shame? If you were to embody the opposite of shame, what would that be? What do you need from yourself in order to no longer feel shame about yourself or other things external to you? Okay, start with yourself because the self is the most important. It's the creator of the external. Are we ashamed of love? Are we ashamed of expansion, free expression, liberation, joy? Just go through the list. And just provide yourself with everything you need in order to no longer feel shame. Immediate expansion as you breathe into that. Okay, so what I'm hoping you've noticed so far is how these emotions are so temporary. Okay, this is incredible realization. When I realized this, it was one of the most liberating things because I realized that I was not those emotions. The emotions are temporary tools. And when you know how to use them, you can learn, you educate yourself about yourself and the world around you and how it functions and how you are manipulated and things are inverted from the most purest form into an inversion. And you can very easily start to identify these little inversions in the world outside of you, whether it's cultural, religion, whether it's entertainment industry, whether it's political, establishments. You begin to kind of notice where all of these things have been so inverted in order to manipulate society into a very controlled state of compartmentalization, right? So through this process, we are teaching ourselves what it means to embody unity because we're going from a compartmentalized, stagnant perspective into an expansive perspective, and we're educating ourselves on how to embody that, okay? So let's keep moving now that we embodied this higher spectrum of emotion. Let's go to the next one. This next one is helplessness, okay? So go ahead and tune into the body Any time that you have felt helplessness. Go ahead, tune in. Observe the contraction that is occurring as a result of this trigger of emotion of helplessness. Okay, how many times have you felt helpless in the past day, in the past week, in the past month? Okay, just look at yourself having those experiences. Notice any fragmentation that has occurred as a result of these experiences, and observe those fragments. Observe yourself. Look at your reaction, look at the reaction of others. Do others that are triggering this emotion in us also feel the same emotion of helplessness? Do they have the same beliefs? Just observe, just watch. Okay. And so now all of your fragments, what do you need in order to no longer feel helpless? Take a look at all of your fragments from now until birth that have felt helplessness. And just feed them, provide them with everything they need in order to no longer feel that way. Very good. Nourishing the body. And immediately, many of you that have these emotions pretty triggered in your body and embedded into the nervous system, as you do this process, you will begin to feel immediate shifts energetically and emotionally in your body. Okay, it's really powerful. And sometimes you won't even realize that those physical aches, pains, discomforts are absolutely directly connected to these emotions that you're working on. Okay, the next one that I'd like for you to work on is going to be hold on, I have to open this. Excellent. Okay, so the next emotion is going to be anger. Go ahead, tune into the feeling of anger. Okay, go ahead and feel the anger. Notice the trigger that it causes in your body. Anger. Okay, how much of you contracts? The more of the body that contracts when I name an emotion, the more it's very freshly and more manifested and dense in the energetic body. Okay, it means that that's a very strong emotion that we've been feeling and exercising for a very long time, and it's created a stagnation of life force in the body that very easily becomes triggered. So go ahead and notice the anger in the body. And go ahead and observe all the parts of you that have experienced anger from the womb until now. And just observe that anger, sit with that anger, be present with that anger. And as you're observing that anger, go ahead and notice all the fragmentation that occurred as a result of this anger. Notice the emotions that arise as you feel anger in the body. And now, because we've looked at many different kinds of emotions, some of these other emotions that we looked at might come up here underneath this anger. And so now you remember how to transmute that emotion, okay? So just go ahead and observe, what is it that you need in this moment in order to no longer feel anger? Take a look at yourself. What is it that you need from yourself in order to no longer feel anger? Breathing deeply. Go ahead and provide that for yourself. And as all of your fragments begin to absorb this new emotion, you're going to see them expanding, and you're going to feel that expansion in your body as well. Very good. And finally, after you eliminate that, I want you to tune into the emotion of fear. Okay, go ahead and tune in to the emotion of fear. Okay. So this is really important because what you'll notice is that in fear, there's going to be a lot of emotions that we have already gone through that end up in this fear, that stem all the way down into this fear. So go ahead and feel the fear in your body and notice what part of you contracts. Okay. Take a look at all the parts of you that have become fragmented as a result of fear. And take a look at these parts of yourself that feel fear. Notice why they feel fear and what they need in order to no longer feel fear. Take a look at them. What is it that you need? Look at all of the parts of you that felt fear. What is it that you fear? Why do you fear? What do you fear? And each one of these fragments has a lot of information for you. So just gently scan through all of them and see if you can quickly collect an understanding. Notice if there's a pattern in beliefs. And just notice, what is it that you need in order to no longer feel fear? What do you need from yourself in order to no longer feel fear? Okay, and go ahead and provide yourself with that right now. All of your fragments, provide yourself with exactly what they need in order to no longer feel fear. Breathing deeply. Excellent. Very good. So we're going to go ahead and go on to the next emotion. I want you to tune in to joy. Go ahead and turn into joy. Okay. Go ahead and see what happens when you hear the word joy. Now, because of a lot of trauma that we've experienced in our life, for those of you that are just learning to become acquainted with your emotions, sometimes these emotions, even though they're very high vibration emotions, can actually trigger negative emotions in us, okay? And it depends on our relationship with that emotion. So when you hear the word joy, if that causes anxiety in you, or fear, or doubt, or frustration, or of any kind, just go ahead and notice that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just observing. Okay, just notice your relationship to the emotion and just sit with that emotion for a moment of joy. Okay. And if you are not familiar with the emotion of joy, I want you to think of something that brings you joy. What is something that brings you joy? It can be anything. It could be a picture of a little cat, okay, a beautiful sunset, perhaps a loved one, something, a hobby that you love to do that brings you joy. I want you to think of that activity, that event, that scenario, And I want you to allow yourself to tune into that feeling that it emotes in you. Okay, gently sit with that emotion of joy. Okay, take a look at all the parts of you in your life that have experienced joy from the womb until now. Okay. And if you find that you're not finding any parts of you that have experienced joy, I want you to see all the parts of you that could not experience joy. Go ahead and identify them, because those are the parts that are contracting the moment we say the word joy. So take a look at all the parts of you that could not experience joy. Okay, what is it that they need in order to experience joy, or to experience it in a more expansive manner? Okay, what do they need? And just provide it to themselves, to these parts of us. Okay, if you start to feel strong emotions, it means your first three chakras are wide open and out of balance. So I immediately want you to take a deep breath and allow yourself to close the first, second, third chakra, breathing deeply. You're going to open your heart, your throat, your third eye, and you're going to ground yourself and come right back into the present moment. And I want you to create a screen in front of you where you're going to watch these experiences, as opposed to experiencing them so much through the body. Well, you're going to watch what's occurring, and you're going to just feel very light sensations connected to these memories. Again, we don't want to become identified with the experiences and triggers, but we want to observe them. Okay, and there's a very big difference between that. So as you observe them without judgment, what causes us panic attacks or strong emotional reactions is that we have locked into a perception about this experience. And so what we need to do is compassionately help ourselves broaden the perspective that we've created for ourselves in order to more compassionately be able to see a broader way of looking at this. Because remember, when we are becoming one with source, it means you're becoming everything and nothing at once. So we have to become everything and nothing through the perceptions of these things. So we're going to start by very strong perceptions, strong identities, strong personalities as a result of these identities and programming. And we're going to deprogram that so that we can become expansive, fluid. Essentially, the vibrational frequency changes from density into light. That's what it means to become enlightened. You turn into light. It's a high frequency, high oscillation, high rotation of your spin, of your vortex, rather than dense and limited perception. Okay, so just breathe through any kind of emotions that you might be feeling, and just allow yourself to come into a state of complete neutrality. Okay, breathing deeply. Okay. Very good. So as you see, all the parts of you now have identified and become acquainted with joy. Okay, we're going to move on. So let's go into the next emotion of acceptance. I think we did acceptance, actually. Let's go to the emotion of cherished, feeling cherished. Feeling cherished, feeling acknowledged. I just want you to kind of tune into that frequency of emotion. Okay. Go ahead and tune into that feeling of being cherished. When is the last time that you felt cherished? And notice what happens to you when you hear this word. Does it cause feelings of insecurity? Does it cause doubt? Does it cause fear? Does it cause anger? Okay. Or does it cause joy, happiness, excitement? Go ahead and tune into the feelings of feeling cherished, acknowledged. Okay, and as you feel the feeling of being cherished in your body, notice what is it that you need in order to feel cherished. Very good. And look at all the fragments of yourself that haven't felt cherished throughout life. And just provide them with everything they need in order to feel cherished. What you're doing is you're explaining to yourself how to reach the feeling of being cherished. Okay, so you're going to have key emotions such as love, acknowledgement, compassion, understanding, being heard, being seen. All of these things are going to be the under emotions of this primary emotion, which is cherished. This is how you can see the spectrum of frequency and how we lead to that. The strongest emotion of all of those is in the root of love. Okay, so you're educating yourself on how these spectrums of emotions begin to form in our subconscious mind. Okay, go ahead. Allow yourself to accept that completely in the body. Okay, very good. So let's go to the next emotion of harmony. Harmony, feeling calm, feeling harmonious. Let's focus on harmony. So when I say harmony or harmonious, how familiar are you with this emotion in your life? What does it trigger when you hear the word harmony? Do any parts of you contract or do you expand? Breathe deeply. As you tune into the emotions that are being triggered, notice where in the body this thought form is held. Be present with that emotion. As you're present, you're going to begin to see any underlying emotions and belief systems. And sometimes it might be a little difficult to narrow down the connection between the thought, the experience, and the emotion. This takes practice, okay? So as you observe your life experiences with time and patience and compassion, it's going to be easier for you to immediately identify the emotion that's being felt through the thought form that has been created, okay? The perception, the thought, the perception is the result of the thoughts, okay? So what perception was created, okay? Allow yourself to see how we reach that perception and what do you need in order to shift, to expand that perception. Breathing deeply. You guys are doing amazing. Keep breathing deeply, keep running your energy, keep becoming conscious of your energetic field. We're quickly moving through these emotions. You guys are doing amazing. Okay. Very good. So the next emotion is going to be bliss. Bliss. Go ahead and tune into the emotion of bliss, the feeling of bliss. Okay, what happens to your body when you feel that? Do you hear that? Okay. Common contractions when people feel bliss is shame, guilt, unworthiness, anxiety. Okay, so if you're on the contracting end of this emotion, oftentimes you might be feeling these more contracted. So just sit with the emotion, even whatever emotion you're not familiar with. I want you to sit with the parts of you that haven't felt that emotion and ask yourself, what is it that you need in order to feel that emotion? Okay, so let's go with bliss. Okay, go ahead and identify what's bliss. What is bliss? How does one reach bliss? What do you need in order to feel bliss? And I want you to try to stay away from mechanical responses. A lot of times we've been programmed by all kinds of things, religion, even spiritual ideas that we just repeat, but we don't really understand or have experienced what they mean. I want you to clear your mind of everything that you think you know, and you're just going to know nothing and observe in your body what your body tells you is the answer to these things. This is incredibly important. Don't even listen to things that I have said before. I want you to each create a new exploration with your own ways of experiencing things. This is how you will be able to understand yourself. Breathing deeply. Okay, very good. So take a look at all the parts of you that, what is it that they need in order to embody bliss now that you have kind of navigated that, understood that a little bit better. And explore in yourself what bliss is. Okay, as you begin to tap into the emotion, you begin to learn. It starts to feel more expansive. Notice how the attention is redirected from the external to the internal. This is really powerful. Okay. Breathing deeply. Okay. And finally, we're going to go to love. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to do an entire class on love. But today, we're just going to briefly take a look at, what does it take? What does it feel? What does love trigger in us? When I say the word love, what does it trigger in you? The way that you feel about love is the way that you feel about yourself. So take a moment and observe the parts of you that begin to contract as you hear the word love. Okay? Thought forms, emotions, perceptions that are formed. And just look at all the parts of you that have either not felt love, been loved, or take a look at the parts that have felt loved. And just ask yourself, is that real love that you're feeling in that moment? Just give yourself an opportunity to observe where your perceptions are, how you created those perceptions that you have. What I discovered early in the journey is that my perception of love was based on illusions rather than any kind of true form of experiencing love and unity. So this is something that a lot of people have to go through the process of understanding in order to be able to embody real love. Okay, so just allow yourself to see, what is it that you need in order to embody love? Do you need peace? Do you need harmony? Do you need joy? Do you need time? Okay, we're going to give ourselves all kinds of things. And I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you need in order to embody those things? To provide yourself space for love. What is it that you need to embody love on a daily basis, on a momentary basis? As in moment by moment. Take a look at all of your fragments that are still needing love. Okay, look at the connection between love and bliss. How close are those emotions? Go ahead and provide this love to all the fragments of yourself. Take your time. Have patience. Have patience with yourself. This process takes time. Allow yourself to feel love. Okay. Breathing deeply. And just healing all of the fragments that we have called into our space now are all aware. Okay, so this is a wonderful opportunity for us to do some healing work. So I want you to bring down from source unconditional self-love. And you're going to feed into every fragment of yourself that you've highlighted today with this unconditional love. I want you to visualize a giant field of white light saturating each fragment of yourself with unconditional self-love. Okay, you're going to allow yourself to feed them. It's going to saturate into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of the body. Inhaling deeply, drinking it into the body, breathing in, nourishing the body with this unconditional self-love. So any heavy emotions that you might feel in the body, we're just going to allow ourselves to let them leave our space, and we're going to replace them with this unconditional self-love, bringing ourselves into neutrality, observation. Okay? Let's go ahead and observe the feeling of unconditional self-love. Okay. Very good. Excellent. Okay. So as you begin to see yourself here, you're going to ground yourself down to the center of the earth. Go ahead and open the root chakra back into a balanced state, 3 inches wide. We're going to bring source light, spinning it as fast as possible. Let's go ahead and clear the day, right? We've had a long day, so let's go ahead and clear the day from the root chakra. Clear the day from the sacral chakra, spinning it as fast as possible. Bringing it back into a balanced state. Going up to the solar plexus, spinning it as fast as possible. Bringing it into a balanced state. Coming into the heart, expanding the heart, spinning it as fast as possible, clearing out the heart center. Feeling compassion for your body, because some of you, this process, this is a really tough exercise, okay? So we need a lot of compassion. I want you to feel a lot of love and compassion for yourself right now, because you've really become aware of emotions that maybe you're not familiar with, that you haven't ever properly processed in your life. And you begin to notice why we have certain repetitive patterns, certain behaviors, certain perceptions in life about things. Okay, so this is really powerful practice of getting to know yourself on a very deep level. So go ahead and go into the throat, enter the third eye, and just allow yourself to clear any heaviness from those spaces and go up into the crown. Okay, and you're going to activate the crown with your highest expression. Center of manifestation, setting the intention that everything you do from this moment forward is in alignment with your true self, which is the observer, the compassionate observer that allows yourself to feel and process emotions. This is also an invitation to no longer ignore your emotions, because then you have to come sit here and do this work for hours and hours until you understand the things that you've suppressed within you, okay? So we're going to go ahead and shine that crown light on top of the karmic contract room. Go ahead and see that room full of your karmic experiential contracts, and you're going to shine your crown light on it, and you're going to dissolve it completely. Go ahead and dissolve all of those experiential contracts. Clear it out. Clear it out. No matter how heavy or sticky or thick they feel, difficult to leave the space, you're going to just use your imagination to dissolve it into water, into dust, into air, into light, and just allow it to evaporate from that space. And you're going to replace that space with your light, with your unique crown color, your color of co-creation. Okay, so go ahead and fill that into your karmic contract room. And as you allow that room to illuminate nice and bright, you begin to feel so much lighter. And I want you to go up into your 8th chakra, activate the 9th, activate the 10th, activate the 11th, activate the 12th, activate the 13th. And above you is a powerful white light of source. I want you to connect up into source and bring that source light into your body. You're going to anchor it into the center of the earth, and just let that source light move through you as it creates that pillar of white light through the body, a nice, solid, healthy pillar of white light. that immediately realigns the geometry of the physical body, okay, opens up the meridian lines of the body in order to let life force flow through, clearing out blockages, stagnation, fears, doubts, negative energy, and bringing and making space for high energy into the body. Healing energy, vibrational expansion. Okay, go ahead and expand your light all around you as wide as you can. Remember, your 13-dimensional layers of yourself, so go ahead and allow yourself to expand as wide as possible. Okay, setting the intention that this is who you are. You are pure infinite consciousness, becoming aware of yourself through all experiences. Very good. So I want you to bring yourself back into the room. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. It was an honor to work with you as always. I really hope that this exercise helped you. I understand that it can be challenging, and we only went through just a couple emotions. I mean, we can be here an entire week going through each one of these emotions. So I will go ahead and share. You have the screenshot of those emotions that you can utilize to continue your work, and I really invite you to do that. So once again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Angie, so much for being our moderator once again. Greg Herrera, thank you so much. Cedric, thank you so much. Greg says, is there any good visual display of those higher chakras? Yes, I definitely believe that I have some in some other presentations, but I will post it on my Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram and you guys want to follow me, I will share it on a story, a good picture that I think is great. But in-depth information about the higher chakras, I would refer you to Dr. J.J. Hurtak. J.J. Hurtak and Desiree Hurtak. I actually just was in one of their workshops where they talked about the higher chakras, and he's the only person I've ever seen that goes thoroughly into those higher levels and explains them as I have also seen them. So I strongly suggest checking him out, check out his work. He has this amazing chakra book that explains each one of these higher levels, and that might be a really great resource for those of you that are learning a little bit more of that, okay? All right, so thank you so much. Oh my goodness, Shobhanananda, thank you so much. I am so grateful to you. Thank you very much for that amazing super chat. I'm very humbled and very grateful. Thank you very much. It really helps me a lot. I'm very grateful. Everyone, thank you so much for joining in. And if you have any questions, let me know. Anna Patricia, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry some of your messages get restricted for some reason. I don't know why. Grandmaster, hey. Shadow Feather, hey. Christine, hello. Marilena, Dogface, Marilena, how are you? Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. All right, all my love, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you so much. Blanca, thank you so much. Oh, here's a question. Where do expectations come from? Are they an attempt of some sort of control? Thank you again. That's a wonderful question, Blanca, because this is a next step in the journey of self-discovery. What we will find by observing our own expectations and the expectations that we have, first of all, I invite you to take a look at what your expectations are about the things that relate to your life. And I want you to ask yourself where you came to those expectations. One of the strongest, powerful realizations that I had was looking at the expectation I had about the roles that mother, father plays, for example, in life. And this is something that can really be helpful in healing from any kind of childhood trauma, okay? Because we seem to have this idea that is formed in our mind due to Hollywood, the entertainment industry, societal structures, religion, on how there's a hierarchy where the father and the mother are representation of the gods, you know, the head and the power seat within our family structures. But we need to try not to do that because they are humans just like we are, and they are products of programming and cause and effect. And a lot of times if they haven't done their own internal work, they really don't have the tools to provide the environment that we need in order to heal ourselves and come into a state of expansion. So this is something that we need to look at, and allows us to come into a place of awareness, compassion for ourselves in having these expectations and in the expectations that we place on others. And eventually we begin to realize that really it's quite unfair to put expectations on others that don't have the tools needed to be able to provide us with what our needs are. So we need to meet our needs. We are the alpha, the omega, the beginning and end of all of our needs. Okay, so this is something that we have to teach ourselves. This is how we become sovereign. This is how we begin to master the three-dimensional layers of the body, and how we begin to manifest as well. Really, it's only when we have that internal marriage that we begin to balance feminine and masculine expressions within us, and begin to understand that we are the provider of everything that we need, okay? All right, so that's a quick answer. We'll probably go into that topic and touch on it in other courses the rest of the month. All my love to you, and I hope you have a wonderful night. All my love. Bye-bye.